say, hey, we know that a distributed system has different nodes. This is the client, maybe, and this is the server. And we say, we know that there's some kind of network involved. Maybe when we think about this network, maybe there's sort of this notion of routers also. And we know that there are messages that go flying back and forth. And here's the question, we could maybe, if we understand this whole system, we can say that we know a little bit about the latency in terms of the lower bound, but the kicker is, and hopefully this is becoming clear as you start to work through this material, is that when we start to talk about an upper bound, there's not a lot we can say. And theoretically, again, there's this idea that you've got bandwidth that is shared, you've got queues that are happening at the routers, and the routers can be busy. We know that this is asynchronous communication, and the big question you kind of have to ask yourself is, how long do you wait? If you're waiting for a message, when should you time out? And that becomes challenging because really, determining whether or not your server is actually alive or dead, we're gonna realize that there's this impossibility result that says, hey, you know what, there really are rare occasions when you really can't make forward progress. So what we have to do is engineer the system to be able to react in some kind of way under those circumstances to be able to make that forward progress. It takes a little while to sort of think about the ramifications of this, and it does seem in some ways, routers failing or bugs in your routers, or, some kind of loop that's going on because of a bug in your router. Maybe your router is doing some kind of logging to be able to make sure that it's going to be able to recover if it fails, but that even can go wrong. So there's a lot of places in here that become very interesting. I just wanted to plant that seed with you and to think about this fact that you are going to have to engineer the system to deal with the fact that there's independent failure and the messages themselves are subject to these kinds of problems. Okay, so that'll be a good time, I promise.